Isang mapagpalang gabi po sa inyong lahat, mga minamahal na kapatid. Nais ko lamang pong ibahagi sa inyo ang mga mahalagang aral o mahalagang words of thought patungkol po sa tinatawag nating executive power. Sa government po kasi natin ngayon, kahit any types of government, democracy, monarchy, and others, nahati po ang gobyerno sa tatlong major department. Yun pong executive department, yung judicial department at saka legislative department. Ang magko-concentrate lang po tayo doon sa discussions natin ngayon. Concentrate po tayo doon sa executive department na vested with the executive power. Pag sinabi mo natin executive power, ito po yung mainly, purposely, ang trabaho po nito is the execution of the law. May mga ilang biblical verse po tayong pag-uusapan dito na, and even during the time, Old Testament time, ay meron na rin palang major divisions ng pamamahala. May executive department na rin sila noon, may judicial department at saka legislative department. So, tulad nga po nung nasabi ko kanina, mag-concentrate po yung discussions natin on the executive department vested with executive power. So, kagaya po nung nasabi ko, ito po particularly ay yung enforcement of the law. When we say enforcement of the law, kasama po dito yung execution of the law. When we say execution, ito po yung wielding of power under the law. So pag sinabi po natin wielding of power under the law, ito po yung mga administration of government functions, police power, police regulations, the foreign policy, and the national defense. Yan po. Sa gobyerno po natin, sa Pilipinas, pag sinabi po natin under ng executive department, yan po yung mga secretary, mga different secretaries, sa Department of Justice, yung National Prosecution na team, yan, mga under po yan ng executive department. Sa Department of Foreign Affairs natin, yan, under sila ng lahat po nung basta't may makikita kayong mga secretary, under po sila lahat ng executive department, and they are bound for the execution of the law. Ang pinaka characteristics po ng executive power, by the way, ang executive department po sa national government is headed by the president. So, sa atin po si President Duterte. May counterpart din naman po yan sa local government unit. So, ang mga may hawak po naman ng executive power sa local government units, ayan po yung mga governor, vice governor, hindi po pala. Governor lang. Tapos sa city or municipality, the mayor, yan. Sa barangay captain. Yan po. Yung sa national po pala, baka malito tayo, no? Yung sa national po pala kasi ang kasama sa, maliban sa mga secretaries po, no? Yung president at saka yung vice president, kasama po yan sa executive department. Ngayon, kaya ko po na binawi kanina yung sinabi ko na yung vice governor. Sa LGU po kasi yung vice governor ang pinaka-head ng legislative department. Tsaka yung vice mayor. So, yung vice po doon sa LGU ay hindi po kasama sa executive. Yun lang po, mayor, governor, at saka barangay captain. Okay. Ang pinaka-characteristic po ng executive power is yung executive officers, like the president, etc., etc. It has no power to promulgate rules, make, or change laws. Generally speaking po, Hindi po ang executive, hindi po gumagawa ng batas yan. Hindi po yan nagbabago ng batas. Yan po ay tagapagpatupad ng batas. Tapos pangalawa po ay na-characteristic po ng executive ay executive power is initiative. Hindi po siya responsive. When we say initiative, may kusa. Pag nakita na po niya, i-execute niya. Yung mandated sa kanya na power, i-execute niya. Hindi po, ang national prosecution po ay under the executive department. Kaya pag may nakita po yan, na violations, etc. or what, mayroon silang initiative to do the investigation, to file an action, etc. Hindi kagaya po ng yung responsive kasi na characteristics is judicial po yon. Ang judicial system kasi natin, tsaka ka lang a-action pagka may complaint. You will just respond to the complaint, ganun po yun. Pero sa executive po, initiative yan. Tapos, pangatlong characteristics is executive has some lawful discretion in the performance and in the enforcement of the law. May kanya-kanyang diskarte sila kung paano nila i-dispense, kung paano nila i-enforce yung batas. Ganyan po ang tatlong characteristics po ng executive. Punta po tayo sa mga biblical basis po natin on the executive power. Exodus 17:8-13. Ito po ay nung tinalo ng mga Israelita yung mga Amalekites. Ano po? So Exodus 17:8, sabi dito, the Amalekites came and attacked the Israelites at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, choose some of our men and go out to fight the Amalekites. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the staff of God in my hand. 10. So Joshua fought the Amalekites as Moses had ordered, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went to the top of the hill. As long as Moses held up his hands, the Israelites were winning. But whenever he lowered his hands, the Amalekites were winning. When Moses' hands grew tired, they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held his hands up, one on one side, one on the other side, so that his hands remained steady till sunset. So Joshua overcame the Amalekite army with the sword. Ang pinapakita lang po dito, execution. Si Moses, kung ano yung binaba ng Diyos kay Moses, in-execute niya. That's the execution power of the executive. Balikan natin yung characteristics na sinabi ko of the executive power. Yung number 1, executive has no power to promulgate rules, make or change laws. May illustration po tayo dito sa Deuteronomy 20:16-17. Utos po ng Panginoong Diyos. Ibig sabihin, yung Diyos na may utos noon, may batas na. Sa mga hari, no, na sirain lahat ang mga Amalekites, no. So Deuteronomy 20:16-17 bound the king to utterly destroy the Amalekites. Yun ang utos. So, ang task ng isang hari is just to execute yung batas ng Panginoong Diyos. Pero, pag binasa po natin yung 1 Samuel 5:59, nagtangka si Haring Saul na baguhin yung batas. He spared the king of Amalekites and the best of the sheep. Pag binasa po natin yun, di ba? Yung hari ng Amalekites, hindi niya pinatay. Samantalang utos ng Panginoong Diyos na patayin lahat. Pati yung mga sheep, na the best sheep, nalagaan, hindi niya pinatay. So consequently, Saul, at the end of the story, was judged for violating the law. Ipinakikita lamang dito, noong pa man, na yung executive power or yung executive department o yung executive officer has no power to change the law. Ang kanyang trabaho lang ng isang hari, ng isang presidente sa panahon natin is to execute the law. Hindi pwedeng baguhin yung batas. Consequently, yun nangyari kay Saul. Okay. Yung pangalawang characteristics na ang executive power is initiative and not responsive. The executive does not wait for someone to ask him to wield the power. He simply wields it whenever he sees it, kung kinakailangan. Example na lang po, biblical example natin dito. Nung time na nagkasala si Adan at si Eva, God looked for Adam. Nung nagkasala, di ba? Hinahanap na sila. Hindi niya hinintay na si Adan yung lumapit. Hinanap niya sila. Ibig sabihin, initiative, yung executive power na yun to look for Adam. At sa 1 Samuel 15:4, Saul summoned the people to go to war. Hindi niya hinintay na yung mga tao ang magsabi kay Saul, kay Haring Saul, no, makipaggera tayo. Hindi. Initiative ng executive, ng hari, nasabihan yung mga tao na we will go to war. Sa atin, sa kapanahonan natin ngayon, pag nakita ng presidente o ng executive department na there is a violation of certain laws, magfa-file yung mga yan ng complaint. Magfa-file yan ng mga petitisyon para mag-imbestiga. Kaya nga nandyan ang ating National Bureau of Investigation to do the investigation. Under ng DOJ yan, sa Executive Department po yan. Sa kapulisan, nandyan ang ating CIDG, Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. Under po sila ng PNP, Supervision of the DILG. Under po yan lahat ng Executive Department. So yun po, no? Initiative, not responsive. Konting comparison. Sa judiciary kasi, sakalang magre-respond ang huwes sa isang kaso kung may nag-file ng case, kung may nag-prosecute. Sa sistema natin, criminal law natin, ang nagpo-prosecute, ang nagfa-file ng mga kaso ay executive, which is the Department of Justice. Yan. Di ba ang sistema sa criminal procedure? Complaint. File ng complaint sa prosecutor's office. Yan. So, aralin ng prosecutor. Ang prosecutor's office is under the executive department. So, may initiative. Ngayon, yung gumawa ng initiative, yung executive, ifa-file ngayon sa judiciary para maging kaso. Tsaka lang gagawa yung judiciary ng mga hearing ng judgment kung may nag-complain. Ganoon. So kahit yung isang judge, nakita niya yung isang krimen, hindi naman siya makakapag-dispense ng justice kaagad at his own discretion eh. Hindi niya trabaho yun. Ang trabaho lang niya, hintayin niya na pumasok sa kanya yung kaso, may somebody file the case para umaksyon siya. Yun yung responsive na tinatawag. Ang executive hindi po ganoon. Okay. Now, yung pangatlo, the executive has some lawful discretion in the performance and enforcement of the law. Sabi nga dito, sa Proverbs 20, Proverbs 28, ito yung story ni King David. Sa Proverbs 28, ito yung tag o qualifications. I mean, yung sinasabi dito na when a king sits on his throne, ipinapaliwanag dito kung papaano yung isang executive ay i-enforce niya yung kanyang discretion in dispensing the justice or in dispensing the case or the law. Sabi niya, when a king sits on his throne to judge, he winnows out all evil with his eyes. Winnows means chinecheck niya lahat, tinitingnan niya lahat yung evil. Kung kung meron mang mga probable cause man yan, may probability man yan na mag-prosper into one case. So, ganon. Ganon yung ng hari. Kaya meron siyang lawful discretion in the performance and enforcement of the law. Not every case of possible or even probable wrongdoing must be prosecuted by the executive, but only those cases which are capable to be brought to a successful prosecution. Halimbawa nito, pag ang isa pong complaint ay isinampa sa prosecutor's office, hindi naman agad-agad sasabihin niya ng piskal na okay, successful to, pwedeng i-prosecute. Hindi po eh. Aaralin mo na lahat yung ebidensya. Okay? Titingnan niya kung may probable cause, titingnan niya kung magpo-prosper ito into na ma-prosecute talaga. Kaya nga sabi dun sa Proverbs 28, when a king, executive, the prosecutor is under the executive. So, pag pinalitan natin yung salitang king ng prosecutor, when a prosecutor sits on his table to judge yung complaint, he winnows out all evil with his eyes. Titingnan muna niya lahat ng mga ebidensya. So, ganun siya. Kaya may siyang discretion in the performance of the law. So, the executive has also complete discretion in appointing officers in the government. Hindi lang po doon sa pag-dispense ng batas eh. Pag-appoint ng mga officers in the government. Alam mo yung presidente, siya nag-appoint ng secretary, siya nag-appoint ng mga judges. Lahat kaya nga, grabe, very wide ang power ng isang executive, isang presidente. Kaya pag nagkamali siya ng desisyon, bagsak ang pamumuno niya. Complete discretion in appointing officers in the government. Tapos, yung king, yung president, yung executive has also a choice of means in executing the laws as illustrated in the case of Solomon. 1 King 3. Alam na natin yung story nun. Yung bata na dinala sa kanya yung nag-aagawang mother. So, nag-isip siya nung discretionary yun eh. Kung paano niya i-dispense yung batas doon. Diba? Sabi niya, hatiin na lang natin bata. Nalaman niya na itong tunay na ina, ganito, yung hindi tunay na ina, okay lang mamatayan. Di? Nakita niya doon sa illustration na ganun yung katalino. Yung pamamaraan ni King Solomon. That is how a king, a president, or an executive enforce the law. Si discretion niya. Discretionary siya. Okay. Yun ho yung mga characteristics ng executive power. Vested with the president, with the mayor, with the king. Noong unang panahon, king. Okay. So, ano po ang sinasabi sa atin dito? If the power, executive power vested with the president ay ganun siya kabigat, ang sinasabi po sa atin ng Panginoong Diyos dito, sa Romans 13:1-7, we have to submit to the governing authority. Basahin po natin, Romans 13:1-7. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of one in authority? Then do what is right, and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath, to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities, not only because of possible punishment, but also as a matter of conscience. This is also why you pay taxes. For the authorities are God's servants who give their full time for governing. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor, etc. So dahil nakita po natin yung power na ibinigay, executive power na ibinigay ng Diyos sa king, presidente, sa mayor, and even sa ministry, sa mga executive leaders, executive ministers, executive bishop, executive pastors, you have to submit to the authority. Now, if we are being asked to submit to the authority, samahan po natin ng prayer to pray for the authority. Kasi sabi nga, executive power is vested with full discretion to appoint all officers in the government. Pag nagkamali po sila ng pag-appoint sa tao, bagsak ang pamunuan, bagsak ang isang organization. Ganun po katindi ang trabaho nila. Kaya nga, sinasabi po sa Proverbs 21:8, in the Lord's hand, the king's heart is a stream of water that he channels toward all who please him. Ganon din ho doon sa panahon ngayon. Okay? So we really have to pray for the executive. We really have to pray for the president. Next year, mag-election na eh. We really have to pray for the governor, for the mayor, for the barangay captain. So ano ba yung makipag-pray natin? Sa Isaiah 11:1-3, makikita natin yung mga qualifications and qualities o yung kailangan mayroon ng isang king, isang leader, presidente, mayor, o executive leader officers. Sa Isaiah 11:1-3, mababasa po natin yan, ano? Sabi niya, a shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse, for his roots a branch will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him. Ito yung pipiliing hari, pipiliing presidente, pipiliing mayor. Sabi, the Spirit of the Lord will rest on him. The Spirit of wisdom and understanding. The Spirit of counsel and of might. The Spirit of the knowledge and fear of the Lord. And he will delight in the fear of the Lord. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes or decide by what he hears with his ears. Qualifications na kailangan ng isang executive. Kung i-compare po natin ang isang qualifications lang po ng presidente under our constitution, citizens of the republic, and then able to read and write. Yun lang po eh. Hindi yung nakalagay yung binasa natin sa Isaiah 11:1-3. Kaya mapansin nyo dahil yun yung kulang sa mga leaders natin sa executive. Kung bakit medyo oftentimes nakakaranas ng mga ganong turbulence at saka problema sa pamumuno. Kaya ngayon po mga minamahal na kapatid, sama-sama po natin silang ipanalangin. Sama-sama po natin ipanalangin na yung mga next na magiging leader natin this coming elections, i-declare po natin sa kanila yung Isaiah 11:1-3.